And welcome to another fine edition of It's a Sports Show. This our 182nd DP. As always, beside me, I'm Scott Cray. I feel and hear still that dirty water. This is our World Series championship.
Love that dirty water.
We better not leave our day job. Oh, Boston, you're my home. Good stuff. Exciting time.
Well, we're back. People are probably wondering where the heck we've been.
People were born and then died without seeing a World Series, and here we are, fortunate enough to have seen two in a matter of...
It's unbelievable.
That's pretty cool
the
stuff.
The long baseball season is over, and after all that hemming and hawing all season...
I'm ready to finally start watching some football. What week are we in? 2, 3?
Football is a sore subject with me.
Why? Because your team is playing like a couple of sore subjects. They're terrible.
I'm not that
They're one
tall.
of the worst teams in the league right now.
I'm not that tall, but I feel very short right now.
Yeah,
very,
you
very
should.
short.
That's what happens when you brag about your team. You got to go down with them too.
That's not the point. I'd rather live one day as a lion than 1,000 as a lamb. I'll always stick my neck out because that's who I am, a big man. How about this, though? Speaking of,
okay.
we went down on the Scott's Miami trip.
Yeah,
and,
tell me about it.
I was talking to Sarah before. She's not too happy. I'm a Dolphin fan. But anyway, we went down, of course, and, it's been a pretty successful trip for me. Miami's won, maybe 75% of the time that New England's traveled there.
Right.
Anyway, of course, we went to the game. Miami got pummeled. I left early. I wanted to fight everybody.
You didn't even bother.
Yeah, I wanted to fight everybody.
Did you get pummeled along with Miami?
No. I called my buddy Scott up. I said, you guys are rubbing it in, which, I believe they
so
are.
You're one of those.
Well,
one of those.
We'll get to that, I guess.
All
but, yeah, that's right. So, anyway,
Ridiculous.
How about this, though? There was like maybe 120 of us, mostly Patriots and Red Sox fans.
120 people.
Well, this was a slow, actually a low count.
Wow.
Usually over 200. It's a popular trip.
Yep.
Because I'm on it, quite frankly. No.
Yeah.
But we go back to the hotel, and the hotel, of course, is right on the water on the beach in Fort Lauderdale, and it has a nice pool area.
Yeah.
With a tiki bar, some chairs and everything. We went there a couple weeks ago, so it was the Red Sox ALDS.
Which was nice.
It was nice. They put up a projection screen outside, so we all sat in chaise lounges with some brewskis, some chicken wings, mudslides. We had our cigars and watching the Sox 2 nights. It was about 80 degrees, and you're out there. We're going, this is a way to watch baseball, not with a hat on.
Nothing wrong with that.
So it was tremendous, and they were down 3-1 when we went to Miami.
Yep.
Excuse me, and lo and behold, the Sox have won 7 in a row.
They turned it around.
And have not lost a World Series game.
Yeah, 8 for 8 so far.
Which is unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. So the Sox, of course, having their victory parade at high noon in Boston today, and over, what did they say, 1,000 fans. An estimated 1,000 fans turned out.
1,000, I would have to say.
Hey, that's not bad for, this is
that was yesterday. That's when they welcomed them home.
Oh, okay.
There's no 1,000 people in Boston today. There's probably 100,000.
I'm a day behind.
Yeah,
so
it's not 1,000 people.
That's still not bad. I mean, when you consider that they had it this time during the week, during the school schedule, basically. I know teaching at West Bridgewater, a lot of kids weren't able to go because, frankly, it's an unexcused absence, so they really had no choice in the matter.
Yes. I mean, if you're going to wait 86 years for another championship,
these kids don't know that, though.
If you miss Mr. Cray's class, that's okay for one day. I mean, it's a World Series.
It'll be just fine.
What are you going to do, send them all to the principal's office tomorrow?
I'll give them all detention.
Yes.
Don't mess around. Anyway, so Red Sox, it doesn't take more than 24 to 48 hours of winning a world championship. And then everything starts up as far as the Hot Stove League. We've got Mike Lowell, probably the subject as far as signing. Remember in 2004, after they won the World Series, and again, quickly, it turned into talks about who can we keep, who do we get rid of. And there were actually a lot of names being tossed around. And if you think back to the 2014, a lot of players did not stay beyond that World Series win. This time around, not really that many names up. They took care of some people before the season started. Like I said, Mike Lowell, probably the big name right now, and a few people are interested in him. Question is, are the Red Sox going to sign him back for what he wants? Probably a 4-year type deal at this point. That's the question.
Are you asking me that question?
Yeah, what do you think?
No, I think there's a few issues from 2004. number one, they got a lot more young talent.
Yep.
I mean, Ellsbury came out of nowhere.
Ridiculous.
Great series.
Papelbon, of course.
And Ellsbury is not even eligible to be a rookie. How about that? Yep. Papelbon, of course, is, we talked about that early in the year, starter, closer anyway. We know the story. Great closer. Probably right now, I mean, you probably have to say the best in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to be one or two. Pedroia had a great series. Youkilis, who I was dead wrong on a couple years ago, I thought he'd be a utility guy, turned out to be very solid defenseman. Lowell, man.
What can you say?
I mean, a throw-in.
Kind of ironic, though, that forget about this year. He was pretty good. Pretty good. This year, contract year, you always start to wonder.
Well, you wonder, but hey.
He's playing for his last contract,
he made himself a ton of friggin' money, and, he's a good guy, good clubhouse guy. That's a big question on Lowell, but.
A veteran leader.
I kind of agree with some people. You can't jump on the emotion of the series.
Absolutely
This guy's
not.
34 years old.
Can't even jump on the past year.
I don't think the Sox are going to go 4 years. I mean, I think if they can get him for a 3-year deal.
Yep.
He's making 9 now. If they could be up around 12 and maybe not a lot more than that, I don't think that'd be a bad deal. 3
That'll
years,
take him to 37.
Maybe 40 million. Yes.
The question is, does he want to retire at 37? Does he want to retire
Well, who cares
at
about that? That's not the Red Sox problem. I mean,
it is, because whether or not Lowell takes a 3-year deal completely depends on that.
That's another issue. And
so
then,
would
of course,
you rather
now we got A-Rod hanging out there because,
we'll get to that. Don't even
in the middle of the Red Sox series, he announces he's not coming back to the Yankees, but.
His agent actually apologized today for that, but too little too late at this point. A lot of people talking about the possibility of Lowell leaving. Let's not get into A-Rod yet. Who would the Red Sox put at third base if they were to not sign Lowell back?
Well, a lot of people are mentioning maybe flop Youkilis over the third. But Youkilis is not as good a third baseman as Lowell, defensively, in my opinion.
Well, as far as we know.
And he's an excellent first baseman as far as defense goes, so he'll be tough to replace there. So I think you'll kind of almost weaken two positions.
Don't you think the hot corner is the hot corner, though? I mean, you got to react to a ball quickly, and whether you're coming across your body or going with the flow, either way.
Well, I just think Lowell is an excellent defense. It's not a slight on Youkilis. I just think Lowell is that good at third. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I don't say that Youkilis is a dog or anything. I mean, he's had a great year, and he's a pretty good bat. I just.
So who would you put at first base then?
Well, they'd have to find a first baseman. I don't think there's anybody on the current staff now that would play first
Problem
base.
is, if you look around the league at first baseman, it's a lot of the same of Mike Lowell. Guys who are at the tail end, a little older, veteran types. Why not just keep
Well, I mean, obviously, that's a big question. I think Lowell is the number one question. It's two questions, really. Lowell and Schillen, I think, are the two big questions. Lowell says he wants to stay, but he's a free agent. He's never been a free agent. So, this is a chance for Lowell to set himself up for life. I mean,
and it's very important to acknowledge the fact that it's his last contract, probably. So,
well,
how many people play
his last big
40,
contract.
You know what I mean?
He might get 1 or 2 year contracts after that if he stays around. But I mean, we're talking. Think about this. He's getting $9 million, which is a lot. I mean, if he had an average year, we'd be talking. I don't know. At his age, maybe $7, $8 million, maybe the $9 million again at the most.
Right. Now he pulled himself
maybe
off.
2 years, we're talking 14, 15 mil, which, for me and you, we're like, oh, yeah. But now you're talking a guaranteed maybe 40.
Right.
This guy's going
to 4-year 40?
No, 40. I think about, if he goes 3 years, I think you're going to be close to 40.
Well, you're going to have to pay him a little more on a 3-year contract.
You're talking guaranteed $40 million, so congratulations, Mike Lowell.
Maybe if he takes a hometown discount per year, the Red Sox might be more willing to do the 4 year.
Don't forget his agent, Scott Boras. So,
yeah.
He's not going to go, he might say, okay, I'll take 3 years with a player option. The Red Sox might say, no, it's a team option. Or,
when the Red Sox...
The discount's going to be
just a hair.
minute. And quite frankly, I don't blame him. He's not going to say, well, I'll take 10 from the Red Sox when I could get 12 from somebody else. Somebody say, oh, what's a big deal, 12? Well, I'll tell you. 3 times 2 is 6. That's $6 million at the end of 3 years. It's a lot of money.
If Lowell and Red Sox brass sit down, who has the advantage at this point? Would you definitely say Mike Lowell? Based on the fact that the last year he had, the World Series and playoffs he's had, and the fact that he knows the Red Sox made some good cash thanks to him in leading up to this.
I'd say it's
World
advantage
Series.
Lowell, no doubt about it. And from the Red Sox point of view, I said this back in 2004, but they have won the World Series. So, there's not that urgency to win the World Series since they haven't won it since '86. So
we're in the Boston market here.
No, but still, I mean, let's not be pigs like Patriot fans. We can get to that after, but
hey, why not?
Well,
you're in it to win it. What are you saying?
No, absolutely.
This is Lowell's former team, the Florida Marlins, that went through this and did a fire sale.
All I'm saying is that the big urgency after not winning it for 86 years is not there. They've won 2 out of the past 4.
I do not understand what you're saying whatsoever. So you're okay if they don't win next year? The heck with it. They won last year. That's the mentality?
No,
I certainly
what
don't
I'm saying
think
is a big load has been lifted from this franchise with the curse and everything. Were you not around for the curse?
I think that the
goal... Oh, did you just forget about that now?
The goal is always to go out and try to win a World Series for the Red Sox.
You sound just like Patriot fans. Oh, our backups didn't play that well. Oh, Belichick's going to yell at him.
You're in it to win it, baby. That's
absolutely.
The way it is. And if that means 5 times in the next 5 years, then so be it. If Lowell is a big piece of winning it again, then you need to sign him. Hey, let's face it. The Red Sox have no problem signing older players or has-been players for big bucks.
We don't know if he's at peace or not. I mean, he should be at peace for the next year or 2. But
you spent all that money on useless Gagne, useless J.D. Drew. I don't care what he did during the playoffs. Useless.
I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you.
Why not spend it on a guy that did prove himself?
I agree with you. It's too bad Iass sucked in with that useless J.D. Drew money. I agree with you. I want to have Lowell back.
Maybe they can get some of that back and get rid of Drew.
For 3-4 years than A-Rod at $35 million a year.
Next on the list, as far as people that are not free agents, and we could go back to Curt Schilling if you want for a minute, but players that are not free agents but may be at risk of losing their job at this point, Drew is worth bringing up. Crisp is worth bringing up. The guy didn't even play in the postseason for the most part, in the World Series anyway. You got to think at least one of these guys is gone because Ellsbury can play. He's shown that. When given the chance for someone like Pedroia to play, it's paid off. So why not do the same for Ellsbury? You need a spot in the outfield for him. Any other day, I'd say get rid of Manny. I've always wanted to get rid of Manny, save a little bit of money. But the fact of the matter is, you need to get rid of Drew or Crisp. Which direction?
Drew's not going to go because he's making way too much money. Okay, so forget about that. He's not going to go. Nobody's going to take him.
A team like the Yankees need an outfielder.
They're not going to take him for his salary. They're going to come up with $15 million a year.
And I'm fine with that because I think Drew will have a better year next year.
Duh.
Not just a better year, as in there's nothing. There's not too much to improve on.
I think Crisp is the obvious guy, maybe to go in a trade because Ellsbury's proved, at least in the short term,
injury problems.
Yeah, I mean Ellsbury's a young player, spark plug. He's quick and everything. Manny, where would this franchise be without Manny? Nowhere.
I don't know.
Nowhere.
Maybe.
Manny's one of the greatest hitters of all time.
People talk about being adamant about not signing A-Rod because of the junk that comes along with it, yet they're fine with Manny. Make some sense of that.
Okay. Has A-Rod produced in the postseason?
No, he has not.
Mrs. October?
It's Ms.
Mr. April? Ms. October?
Ms. October.
Manny has. Manny is a professional hitter. Manny, he didn't have a great World Series, but he had a very good ALDS.
Yep.
I mean, we've talked about this before. Manny can hit. So you put up with the other crap, not jogging the first base. I mean, they'd be nowhere without Manny. So I think Manny, obviously now after 2 World Series, $20 million was a lot of money, paid dividends. And you know what? Here's where I think about A-Rod. Manny's got 1 year left.
Yep.
I don't care who you bring in. It's going to be tough to replace that production. That's maybe why you would think about A-Rod.
Not only that, but protection for Ortiz,
because Manny would be gone. And next year they'd have A-Rod, Manny, and Ortiz, which would be phenomenal.
Right.
But Manny's almost definitely going to be gone. Number 1, just salary. Number 2, the Sox have been trying to trade him.
Right.
But, I mean, that's the one hang-up I have with maybe bringing in A-Rod. But A-Rod's a funny personality. We've seen it in New York.
Yep.
He didn't handle it well. All those little quirky things, hitting the ball out of the glove and yelling at the third baseman. I don't know. And he really hasn't proved it.
Something about him. He doesn't play the game.
I agree with you. I mean, tremendous hitter, and I think all Sox fans would be happy if they brought him in.
I disagree with that.
Oh, I think most fans would be. Right now they're calling him names, but if they brought A-Rod in and be like, hey, he's on our team.
We'll go back to A-Rod in a sec. I want to talk about 2 players, one of which you mentioned. Both pitchers, both veterans, both been in a Red Sox uniform for a while. Curt Schilling, Tim Wakefield, both up. What's happening?
Well, Wakefield has been an unbelievable soldier for the Red Sox. I would probably.
Does he have some gas left in the tank with what he throws?
I kind of want to get over that knuckleball thing. I don't want to worry about it, the knuckleball, and to bring him in, you'd have to bring Marabelli in. Marabelli stinks.
Yep.
So I think they should either bring him in for very short money and maybe a relief role or something,
which he may do,
or offer him some type of position if he chooses in the organization, because he's been a tremendous guy. I have nothing but the utmost respect for him.
It's too bad that he wouldn't qualify as a pitching coach, and I don't know that he wouldn't. I'm just thinking maybe.
Well, the problem is,
a knuckleballer.
You're right. That's the thing. I don't know. So
if he qualified, Sox might be losing their pitching coach. So
it'd be a shame to just get rid of him. But knuckleballers can pitch into their,
And if he thinks he still has a couple years left, he's going to take it. Red Sox probably won't.
I'm ready just to put that with the young pitching they got. Put that behind it.
Say thank you.
As far as Kurt Schilling, he said he'll take a 1-year deal. If the Red Sox could get Schilling on a 1-year deal for the same amount he's making this year, and somebody brought this up, which is a good point. Even if he has a so-so year, the guy's a playoff gamer.
Sure.
So even if you keep him
and
around,
another veteran pitcher,
the back of the rotation, right? The veteran pitcher, he knows what's going on to teach these young guys, bring him into the playoffs. I don't think it'd be crazy money. He said it'll take 1 year, so 13 mil these days in baseball is not a lot of money. So I think that'd be a good move. I'd like to see him stay here. Like I said, the guy's a game. Everybody likes him.
You're talking a number 3 in the rotation, so not that far back. Because I don't think he'd be after Beckett.
Even if he went to 4 or 5, if Buchholz. Don't forget.
Yeah, I don't think those guys have earned their stripes to be called 3 or 4 yet at that point.
Well, we'll have to
see. Finally, lastly with the Red Sox, Mr. Big Papi David Ortiz can finally have his knee surgery. So it's amazing how long he's been hurt for, pretty much all year. He kind of tweaked it in spring training, and it really, you could start to see it really bother.
Yeah, he wasn't swinging well. Do we notice that in Florida? We were watching it. He was taking some odd swings. In other words, he wasn't swinging with his whole body,
right?
Kind of like with his arms. But hey, he's a gamer. He did as well as he could. He got some pretty big hits, which shows the kind of person he is.
Yeah.
And what kind of hit? I just like to have like one of his earrings. Those things are like monsters.
You like those earrings?
Earrings.
You would. Hey, I got to take issue. Last Red Sox thing to talk about. Heroes welcome. And if I may, I'm not a publisher of a newspaper, nor do I try to act like one. I have a little bit of an issue with throwing the word heroes on the front page talking about a Major League Baseball team. I'm just going to put my 2 cents in. I mean, I don't think I need to say much more than that other than heroes in this day and age. I think we know who the heroes are. It's our war veterans, our 9/11 veterans and victims, fire and police personnel. Bad choice of wording there, Projo. I'm not liking it much, and I don't know if maybe I'm just being a little too sensitive to the issue, but front page, I think you need to be a little more sensitive to the idea.
I don't think it's that big a deal, but I kind of would agree with you in this climate with, a lot
heroes
of...
welcomed. I want to see veterans from the war coming off of a plane, not baseball players holding up a World Series trophy.
I agree with you, kind of this day and age with all our young men over at Iraq.
Just kind of tweaked me wrong when I read
agree
that.
with you.
You know what I mean?
Anyway. It's a good situation, so I don't want to shed any negative light on it.
I'm not trying to take anything away from what the Red Sox have done, but I think the Projo could do a better
But the Red Sox, all in all, are in great position and in position to succeed for years to come, whether they win a World Series or not. Oh, absolutely, and better than their main counterparts, the New York Yankees, who right now have a new manager in Joe Girardi, who accepted a deal today as we tape.
Goodbye, Torrey.
And the goodbye, Torrey, and who knows what's going to happen. Maybe Posada goes with Torrey to maybe L.A., which is the hot rumor.
You've now got Posada and Rivera up for grabs, so to speak. We don't know what they're going to do, and we still don't know what Torrey's departure, what effect that has on these two players. A-Rod classically announcing, thanks to Scott Boras, during Game 4 of the World Series, that he would not be coming back as a Yankee, and he's going to test the free agent market, and the Yankees have stuck to their guns and said, Cashman has said since then, we will not be signing him if, in fact, it becomes official that he's testing the free agent market. So he burns his bridges with the Yankee organization. You would tend to think that more than likely, he's not coming back based on that alone. Something to mention, by the way, I'm not sure if everyone knows this yet, but Joe Torre looking like the leading candidate for the Los Angeles job out in Dodgerland. A lot of people don't realize they haven't announced it yet because Grady Little is still under contract.
Did I just say that 2 minutes ago, or are you off in...
They haven't officially announced it yet. Oh, you said it. Oh, I probably wasn't.
Was that where you heard it?
Yeah.
On It's a Sports Show? Just said it 2 minutes ago.
Blew right by
I said the
me.
hot rumor. I said, Joe,
I must
he
have
might
been
take Posada with him to
still
LA.
thinking about the heroes welcomed anyway, so you've already heard it. I'm just repeating something. But that'd be kind of cool, Torey, not passing up on things and continuing to manage. I didn't think he would. I thought he was...
10 minutes to talk some football.
Yeah. We still got to talk Yankees, pal.
Oh, do we?
That's what we're doing.
Who cares about the Yankees?
What do you think about A-Rod? Let's really touch base with him.
Yankees stink.
With A-Rod's numbers that he puts up
behind the booth
in the regular season, is he worth having on the Red Sox roster right now?
That's a very good question. I don't have a precise answer for you.
And do you...
at
let me put it this
$35 million a year, which is the rumor,
yep.
I think the money could be better spent in a couple other positions.
Especially showing that you don't need A-Rod to win the World Series.
Maybe another pitcher. I'm always a fan of getting some pitching, and, getting the personality out. You've got a good mix in Boston. You still got Manny for another year.
Yep.
Like I said, my only thought is once Manny's gone, that significantly weakens the lineup. That's the only thing. But this guy wants $35 million a year. I mean, he hasn't done anything in the postseason. That's where it counts. So
the fact that
I'm on the fence like a lot of people are. I got a little bit of trepidation with so you don't want him at all?
Nothing to do with him.
Okay.
I think you got another year to... You talked about these rookies.
So what if Lowell's gone?
I think you need
Manny's
to
got another
spend
year.
enough money on Lowell. If you're willing to think about spending it on A-Rod, spend what Lowell wants.
Lowell has had one great year. A-Rod he busts out every year.
He's had 2 pretty good years and a great year. So, but he's a veteran presence.
Interesting. I mean, this whole thing is an interesting dilemma. The
whole third base position.
Well, to watch. This is going to be the first big news. A-Rod and Lowell. Let's not forget, A-Rod doesn't have a lot of options. There's only 3, 4, 5 teams at the most that can really make a move for this guy. Some rumors are Anaheim.
Big time.
Maybe the Cubs.
Yep. I think he does I'm blanking now. Wide receiver star for the New England Patriots.
Randy Moss?
Randy Moss went with the money with, was it Oakland that he went to?
Yep.
Went with the money to a crappy team. The Cubs don't look like they're going to be anything special in the next year or 2, but they can afford to spend the money on A-Rod.
Baseball, the problem is in football, you can get out of those deals. In baseball, you can't.
That's what I'm saying, though.
So he wants, didn't somebody say like 20-year or 10-year? I don't know.
He wants to retire as whatever team he goes to.
I mean, that whole thing's ridiculous.
I have no desire whatsoever, nor want A-Rod. I would completely boo it in Red Sox Nation if A-Rod came to town.
Stay tuned.
Because of his postseason numbers and because of the way he plays the game. It's just not, it doesn't fit what the Red Sox do. Nor does it fit what the Yankees do. And look what happened. Turned out to be a mistake. Okay, so you want to talk some football. You can't talk NFL without starting with the Patriots. That's obvious. If we get beyond the Colts here in Patriot Nation, are the Patriots going to lose a game the rest of the season?
If they really don't want to, they might not.
The ball's in their court.
Well, I mean, they obviously this is the best team the Patriots have ever had.
Are the Colts even going to be a challenge to them?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, the Colts have won 12, 13 in a row. I mean, the Patriots are actually favored by 5, which is kind of surprising. But
Colts defense, the people are saying, is better.
Well, the Colts defense is decent. We all know about Peyton Manning. It's in the dome. So, I mean, if the Patriots blow out the Colts,
forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, right now I see the old Dallas 49ers scenarios where I see the Colts and Patriots. Other than that, I don't see anybody in any league that, unless you get to any given day, Tom Brady throws 4 interceptions in a playoff game or something. These teams don't look like they're going to be stopped.
So once again, in the last 5 or 6 years, we're going to have the Super Bowl determined before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing.
I would agree with that because I think the NFC's weak. I mean, the Patriots showed that playing at Dallas that they stomped them.
A team that they were supposed to play good against.
This is the best Patriot team on paper by far. I don't care if they don't win the Super Bowl or not. It's definitely on paper.
The way they're blowing teams away. It's not the fact that they haven't lost. I mean, they're just throwing. It's the offense they've needed.
They've covered every spread, and Tom Brady's a machine. He's got some excellent weapons. Randy Moss is having a great year.
Randy Moss looking to break Jerry Rice's record.
Bill Belichick's running it up on everybody, trying to prove he didn't cheat.
Well, let's talk about this now, though, because you're coming from the other side of things, and you're a little bitter.
I've been validated by the national media, though. I called Scott at halftime of the Miami game. Of course, I was mad. And you know what? I even had the vision to step back and say, I'm a Dolphin fan. We're getting our butt kicked. Maybe I'm just being mad.
You're trying to think
so
in a neutral standpoint.
So I stepped back a little bit. But then, national media brought it up. Yep. There's an article today. The Redskin linebacker went up to Belichick after the game. It's not just me. So
it's the old adage.
Now, don't get me wrong. If this was Miami, I'd be loving it. So,
sure.
It's
the old adage.
Like a shot at Patriot fans. I just think, and I can point out the instances if you ask me. I think they're running up the score. Whether he wants to say,
what do they have? Why? Let me ask you that.
Why? I don't know why. Because I think Belichick wants to stick it to everybody. Because 3, 4 weeks, 5, 6 weeks ago, or before the season, everybody was on him for cheating. So maybe he's saying, you know what? I'm not going to take mercy on anybody. But
so what about the ex-coach at one point that said, hey, it's not my job to not score points. It's their job to stop you.
Listen, I agree. If you want to really stop somebody, if you're mad at somebody, stop them. I understand that. However, they played Miami. Let's just start with Miami. The score was 35-7, I believe.
At halftime.
Now, when it's two evenly matched teams, let's say it's the Patriots and Colts.
Yep.
Again, this is strictly my opinion, my views. If one team creates a lot of turnovers, is not playing well,
yep.
You put the pedal to the metal because that team can come back.
Right.
Miami, New England was such a mismatch. There was no way in heck that Miami was going to come back in that football game.
Right.
It's 35-7 with a minute to go and a half, and they're doing fake spikes into the end zone, which I thought was ridiculous. I got mad there. Against the Cowboys, they did something at the end of the game. Against the Redskins, 4th down and 5, and they're throwing the ball from their own 30-yard line, and he's saying nobody wanted me to kick a 56-yard field goal. It's like 42-0 or something. And people say, well, they're professionals. I understand that, but, I want to ask you a question. I've asked a lot of people. Nobody has an answer for. Why do some teams, when it's, say, game in hand, and you can name your score,
yep.
and they're at the 5-yard line under a minute, does that team kneel?
Well, you see, though, you're talking about game in hand, and you're also talking about the Dolphins being down 35-7. That's not game in hand.
Oh, come on.
How
about against the Redskins in the fourth quarter, 42-0 is not enough for you?
Well, don't forget, there are some instances. Let's not forget.
The ball,
who was it that the Patriots brought in their backup running back for a 1-yard run for a touchdown? Was that against the Redskins,
I think it was against the Cowboys.
Okay, so people complained about that instance. If you're bringing in your backup running back to have some real-time play, what the heck do you want him to do? You got to get all these. If you have the opportunity, because you are so far ahead. If you're running the
ball, that's one thing. They're throwing the ball on 4th down. Perfect case against the Redskins. Joe Gibbs ran right off the field, didn't even shake, Belichick's hands. He said he didn't have a problem with it afterwards. All I'm saying, Belichick has taken this from a underdog team. Everybody loved the team too. Kind of a team that's making enemies. Maybe that's the way he wants to be. But listen, that's my opinion. I think they're running it up.
You can't play the underdog role.
I think what goes around comes around. I think in 5-6 years, it might take a while. I might be in diapers.
He probably won't even be.
But when he doesn't have Tommy boy,
he probably won't even be coaching.
Well, he might not, but
it'll be someone else's problem. But the way that this organization has built their franchise, I don't see failure anytime soon on their menu. You know what I mean?
Well, no, because
regardless of Tom Brady,
they get Washington's draft pick. San Francisco's draft pick, who right now is having a bad year.
Yep.
They can't score. Their offense is probably worse than Miami's. So the Patriots are going to have like a top 6 or 7 pick. So even having a great year like they are and possibly getting to a Super Bowl and winning it, they're going to have a tremendous draft pick. Yeah, they're set up for the, well, I shouldn't say long run because Moss and Stallworth are on 1-year deals, but, they got Tom Brady.
But winning brings back people that want to stick around. And I think Moss has learned his lesson, too. You know what I mean?
But, he can run up the score all he wants, but one thing remains the same, okay? And this might be a bit of a Dolphin fan talking. I'm prefacing that. You can never take away the $500,000 fine and the #1 draft pick because he was caught cheating. And I don't care if everybody else does it. So it's not going to change my opinion. And he won 3 Super Bowls. People say, well, he didn't run it up before. Well, you know why? Because they won 3 Super Bowls by a total of 9 points. They didn't have the horses to run it up.
As you can see, Dolphin Paul is a little bitter because he knows one thing the Patriots can take away is something that the Dolphins own. Something about an undefeated season.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Are they going to bring the guys out and shoot down some champagne again out in canes and wheelchairs?
I just hope somebody doesn't take a shot at somebody on the Patriots for running up the squad. That's all I got to say.
We'll find out about that. It's going to be DP tackling Tom Brady. It's a sports show at yahoo.com. Get those emails started back up again. Me and DP have been on a hiatus, but we promise we'll do another show in the next 4 weeks or so. And youtube.com will have it uploaded shortly. Keyword IASS. I'll make sure I do it
Iass.
tomorrow.
You can't forget that.
Absolutely not. So thanks to Cody and Jen for running the show and not the score. And we'll see you next week.